Does your company have a very long sales cycle? Are you dealing with, large numbers when it comes to a sale? Anything about 5,000 or $40,000 or even a million in sales, that's typically a very long sales cycle. And I was just speaking with a gentleman who obviously is in a very long sales cycle. And even though we kind of talked about the same things, I don't think we had a meeting of the minds, because even though we were both talking about, building relationships, his relationship starts building after someone contacts him to inquire about their product. To me, that is not a true relationship, because now it's a relationship based on the product, which means whatever you do, whatever you try to do, they see you as the salesperson for that product, whatever that product is. And it doesn't matter if it's a yacht or a Learjet or whatever, or even a house or whatever that is. If you start the relationship once someone's made the inquiry, we see that as a reactive relationship. You are on the defensive, because if they contacted you for that product, chances are they've contacted 5, 10, or 20 other of your competitors. And that puts you on the defensive side. You're not a proactive. They're not seeing you as the expert in your industry. Now, how can you change that? Well, first of all, I would suggest you start the relationship, 1 to 5 or 10 years before that process. And I can see your eyes rolling. Leo, how can I do that? How can I wait for 5 or 10 years? Keep going with the process you're using now, but also have a dual relationship where you're creating the relationship before the client even realizes they need you. Okay, so that's what we call creating the need. Either you're in this for long or short term. If you read any of the sales or relationship type books, they always talk about long term. And if you don't have a 40-year plan or a 50-year plan for your company, then chances are you're focusing short term. You're focusing on today, tomorrow, or the next 24 months. I think you need to focus longer term. You need to focus on building those relationships with the right people. It's the equivalent of planting a tree. If you want to harvest a tree, do you want to harvest a tree that you planted 40 years ago, or do you want to harvest a tree that you planted yesterday? That's the type of relationship that I'm talking about. You can create multiple relationships or create the need for multiple future potential clients by using different strategies. And obviously, you want to create a relationship with your future potential clients outside of your product, outside of your industry. So let's say you sell yachts, as an example. These could be, $500,000 yacht or $50 million yacht. Now, you need to examine who are the people who are typically buying your yacht. What are their interests? Is it golf? Is it travel? Do they talk about their kids? Do their kids or grandkids play soccer? Do they have, pets? What are their pets? What are you likely, or how are you likely to meet these people outside of, the yacht magazines or the yacht groups? Because if you approach them on a yacht group, as an example, they're seeing you as a salesperson. If you, on your LinkedIn profile, your social media profile says yacht guru or yacht sales or whatever it is, they already know what your hidden agenda is, and you've already lost them. But if you talk to them about golf, if you join golfing groups, because they're likely to play golf, or they're likely to, own a Learjet, then if you talk about that type of conversation, you build a conversation based on, the type of Learjets you love, as an example, then you're building a relationship outside your product, and you're more likely to be trusted when that relationship eventually turns into yachts. Because when you help them 3 or 4 times or 10 times, finding a dog trainer, finding a coach for their soccer league, or help them find a leasing agreement for uh, I don't know, whatever their product does, or a forklift lease, or whatever it is. When you help them 5 or 10 times, eventually they're going to ask, well, Leo, what do you do? Right? Then eventually you can say, well, I help clients buy their dream yachts, right? But this is after years of helping them. At that point, they know that you don't have a hidden agenda and you're trying to sell them a yacht. Then he may ask, well, I may be in the market in 5 years or 3 years to buy a yacht, and I've been looking at this type of yacht. What do you think? Now they're looking you at the expert. Now you're having a conversation about yachts because they trust you, right? Because you've helped them 5 or 10 times. Now they're looking for your opinion, right? And that's the perfect place to be at to talk about yachts, when they trust you, right? So I would like to hear your comments below. Even if you tell me, Leo, that's, I don't have the patience for that, or whatever it is, those are the typical comments. But give me those comments and let's have a conversation as to why you're not landing 200 million of clients on LinkedIn, or why you're not doing a lot of business on LinkedIn, right? So if you're not in the 50 million category from LinkedIn, then chances are you're not using some of these tools. I would love to hear your comments. If you think I'm crazy, then tell me I'm crazy. But I would love to hear your comments below. Let's talk soon.